Desiree, I didn't get a packet, an ATAX packet. Is there a way to get one emailed to me?
Right now, yes.
Okay.
Do you have access to your,
Yeah.
do you have an iPad?
Yeah.
All right, here's,
Oh, okay. I picked up Sunday with just the clothes on their back. They're 12 and 15, and my son is 45, and so I've been that long without children.
The these don't have clothes.
And the kids are, 12 and 15-year-olds are really messy.
just horrifying what's happening up there.
It is. So he was in a panic, and he was
Are we
in Columbia
ready?
trying to find gas.
Yep, you're live.
Okay, I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Accommodations Tax Advisory Committee today, Wednesday, October 2nd, and acknowledge that the press and the public have been duly notified of the meeting in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act. First order of business, I'd like to discuss the approval of the previous meeting's minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Any
You need a second
changes?
first. You need a second
Oh,
first.
so I have a second on the approval of those meetings. Discussion, anybody have any changes that they feel are necessary to the minutes? Okay, in light of that, I make a motion to approve. Well, we've already have a motion to approve, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Second item is a special presentation by the YWCA of Greater Charleston for an MLK event application.
We have received an application. It's included in your meeting packet. We asked them to be prepared to present to the committee today. They have not yet arrived. I don't know if you want to just go through the agenda, and if they arrive, if they're running late, we can allow them the opportunity to present at a later time during the meeting. But we haven't heard from them about any issues with attending the meeting today. We can still review the application when we get to that section of the agenda, but
Do you need a motion to
no, sir.
redo the agenda? Okay.
No,
Let's
if
do
they
that, give them
arrive,
the opportunity to get here.
correct. If they arrive, then we go back to that section of the agenda with no problem.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, next item is the review of financial statements, and that review will be led by Deborah Hamilton.
Good morning. I will be covering 2 months of financials of July and August. We are just working on closing out September, so I haven't have those finished yet. But wanted to discuss the balance sheet. Right now, we have between cash and investment, we have $4.9 million in the account and a fund balance of $4.8 million. For the month of August, we did receive a grant for the police department for some body armor assistance, and that was $4,000. And year-to-date interest is $41,000. Have noted that the interest rates on investments are starting to fall back a little bit from prior months. For the expense side, all expenses are coming in as normal, and the police department did purchase a UTV in the month of August for $20,350. So year-to-date, for the 2 months, we've spent $90,000 for those two months. We did not receive any state aid income for those 2 months yet. That's all I have.
I wanted to ask a question. There's that big budget item, and it's probably been there past couple of months, and I haven't asked before, but the Waterway Boulevard multi-use path, that's $570,000. It's a big number. How is that project being financed and managed?
Sure. So just for context, this is a project that the city has been working on for several years, and it started as repaving and expanding the sidewalk that runs between 21st and 41st Avenue on Waterway Boulevard. as we continue to work on drainage improvement plans and after the comprehensive master plan for drainage was created, that area was identified as an opportunity to increase resiliency in the middle section of the island by elevating that path in some sections to provide even greater protection from flooding from tidal influence. So that project right now is under finalizing the design. Then we will go through permitting from the state and federal agencies and then construction. The city submitted a grant application to the FEMA Hazard Mitigation Grant Program because of the drainage component of that project, and we were awarded approximately $1 million for the construction of that project last month. The project, though, started as just a very simple sort of elevation to protect up to 6 feet. And I'm not going to get into the engineering of it, but council decided earlier this year to increase the level of protection by another foot. That's from the sea level, from sea level. It's not that the path is going to be 7 feet tall from where it is. It's just from sea level. We've had that question before, and that addition of more protection, and we also added some drainage infrastructure between 21st and 23rd, where we're having a lot of flooding. That added cost to the project, and now it's estimated to be about $2 million. So we have the FEMA grant, but then the other cost share would be borne by the city. So the cost share is being divided between some of our tourism funds because it's a tourism-related expenditure that is eligible because you're trying to keep flooding away from roads, which is an eligible expense. So the $500,000 and so dollars is a portion of what would be the city's local share to complete the construction of that project.
Is the project, does it go from 21st Avenue to 41st Avenue?
Yes, sir.
The whole length?
Correct. The elevated parts are not all along the path. There are some, we're working with the resort, the Wild Dunes Resort, to elevate some portions of their golf course, which facilitates our ability to increase the level of resiliency of that project. But the entire path will be repaired, expanded, and redone. Some sections of the actual path will be elevated. Some of the elevation, again, happens around on the golf course in the back. Very interesting project. If you're interested in more information about it, let me know. We have drawings and videos of the engineers explaining that project and explaining the value and the benefit to the community. So we're very excited. So in terms of process, we still are looking at about 12 months of permitting before we can put it out for bid and get it under construction.
Okay, thank you. That was helpful.
So I think just back on the budget, because that's in FY25, it is unlikely, we think, that we'll be able to begin construction of the FEMA portion parts because of the permits. So it may be that some of this budgeted numbers are moved to FY26 when most of the construction of the project would happen. So you'll probably see it again as a rebudget. No expense would happen in FY26, but 25, but it would be rebudgeted in FY26.
Okay. I know that Wild Dunes is planning on renovating the harbor course. Will this work be done
Yes.
simultaneously?
And that's part of what we've expedited a lot of the design for this project, and we are working really close to the Wild Dunes Resort and the golf course team to coordinate the work that would that would happen within the golf course for the increased level of protection of our project to happen for that to happen first while they're doing construction, and then we finish the remaining parts.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Deborah? Is that it?
That's it, yes, sir.
That's it. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, next item, old business, update on in the initiative in partnership with College of Charleston's Office of Tourism and Analysis regarding development of questionnaire to be made available to property managers on the island to distribute to visitors to gain insight into where visitors are coming from and what would drive them to return.
So just a quick update. I received a draft survey from Dr. Gutentag from the College of Charleston yesterday afternoon. So I haven't even opened it. I haven't seen it, but I will take a look at it this week, share it with the group. But it's going along. A draft has been generated and presented to the city for review. We also discussed at the last meeting about making sure that we have the participation, commitment, partnership with the property owner, property managers on the island. They would be the way that we would be, they would be integral in the distribution of that survey. We don't have data of who's renting and where and how long. So we would be partnering with them, and a few weeks ago, I had a meeting with a large group of property owners, property managers on the island. They're getting organized, which is really good, kind of with the help of the Chamber of Commerce. They're getting organized, so it was a really nice opportunity for me to have an audience with the property managers that represent the majority of the property vacation rentals on the island. I explained to them the initiative that came as a result of the discussions of this group, our efforts of working with the Office of Tourism Analysis to develop the survey and sort of what the goal was. And they were on board. They thought it was a great idea. They talked about, they already send information out to their guests after they check out. They would have no problem including that link and encouraging people to respond to the survey. So that was really good to hear that there's a general consensus and agreement that that is a good initiative to work and partner with the city. They, had questions about at least having one of their members review the survey to make sure that, that the questions reflect information that they would also benefit in having, the responses having. And we thought that maybe the chamber president, Rod Turnage and maybe Alex Stone, who's really involved in this property managers group, would be a good, rather than sending them all the draft, just like we talked here, to be more efficient, just having one of them review it and provide feedback, which I thought was, appropriate and reasonable request. Certainly also wanted to be in receipt of any reports that are generated by the Office of Tourism Analysis with the results of the survey, which we expected and wanted to share that information with them. So overall, the initiative is moving along well. I'll review the survey, share that with you all, and hopefully by the beginning of the next season, we can have that out and in place.
Okay. I know that the owner-managed short-term rental licenses, it's a small percentage of the total, but I think we should reach out to them as well and get them engaged and try to see if they can use the survey as well.
And we would definitely utilize the database that we have. We have all of their, anybody who has a rental on the island, whether it's through a rental management company or owner managed, we have their contact information as part of the building licensing, the business licensing portal. So once the survey is hosted and we have a link, that's something that we would definitely share with everyone so that they have access to that link and they can share it to their guests as well. I think we just, the goal of meeting with the property managers is, since they have the largest share, it was an easier way to get feedback, whether it would be something valuable and that they would be willing to participate on.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Next item is consideration of new design for the T-shirt program.
All right, so we have we had talked about the new T-shirt program initiative that we were very excited to work on this year. Like I think I reported last time, we sent out a solicitation for designs and art from the community, and the deadline was sometime in September. I can't recall the day. I know the details are in your packet. So we received about 15 entries. Chandra and I met with the group of local residents that we selected, that are folks that are engaged in our community. They included, they were all residents and one business owner from Front Beach. And they met a few weeks ago. They went through the all of the entries, and they selected their top three, which was the plan. They were going to down select to three, and then those three would be coming before you all for a final determination. However, your packet includes all of the designs. So if you want to go through, there's the details, the competition details. So this was their number one pick for the t-shirt, the new t-shirt design. It was designed by a 13-year-old artist, Elizabeth, that has a passion for drawing, digital art, the beach, her 2 cats, and 8 chickens. The request was for folks to submit a design for the front. I'm sure you all have seen the t-shirt we have. We have do we have one here? Yeah. Oh, perfect. So this is the current t-shirt that we provide to visitors who can show proof that they're staying on the island. They're generating state accommodation taxes by staying on a rental or a hotel, so that's where this is coming from. So we have a little turtle with the zip code in the front and a larger design in the back. So the goal was to, mimic that again with a logo in the front and another larger design in the back. So this is the first one. Next one is from Lainey Davidson. She is from Isle of Palms. She earned a BFA in computer animation and likes creating bright and bold sculptures and illustrations. So that was the local group's second choice for the t-shirt design. And this was the third one from Katie McDonald, Canadian-born artist, always dreamt of living by the ocean. She moved to Isle of Palms in 2023 and is inspired by the island's effortless beauty and close-knit community. And then the fourth option that the committee really liked was this option. And there was a conversation about having a separate design for children. We do small, we do children sizes and larger sizes. And the committee was really drawn to this one, the group was really drawn to this one in light of the city council's recent resolution to become an autistic-friendly community, working with Just Be and encouraging training among our restaurants and businesses and our public safety personnel and all city employees to recognize and accommodate children or adults that have autism. And this was a design that was created by a group of autistic teens. They brainstormed ideas and took turns listening to each other and were able to create this design. So they really liked the idea of having a second option or a second design. And maybe, for those that are sold, as you know, we provide one per family for free, that for those of people to stay on the island. But anybody can pay if they want a second one or if they want more t-shirts. They even discussed the possibility of donating $1 from proceeds of the sale of this particular t-shirt to an organization that helps bring awareness and on folks that struggle with autism. So the remaining of the designs are included in your packet. We can go through all of them. This one from Mikey Timms, Kim Johnson, Mimi Wood, front and back. Logan Rada, loves wildlife on the island. Eva Plemons, this is the front and the back design. Emily Sesqui. Amanda Lamontagne. Micah, who's 11 and loves to draw. Michael Warren. Siva Harden. Sharon Ray. Robert McRae. Nikki Collar. The artists were allowed to submit up to 2 designs. So this artist submitted 2. And then Giuseppe Biscardi. So those were all the designs. So certainly would like to hear your thoughts and any reactions to the designs and the recommendations from the other group.
Is the city,
Yes.
is the city thanking all the, giving these kids and that, any kind of swag?
Acknowledgement.
And acknowledgement for doing this?
Not yet, but I think we have an
We should,
opportunity
yeah.
once it's elected to when the winner is announced, to still recognize everybody who
Yeah,
submitted.
Cool.
I like the idea of the
Chrissy?
Just Be, excuse me.
Thank you.
Sorry. I like the idea of the Just Be. That group came to Islander and trained our staff, and it's a fantastic organization, and I like the idea of a dollar going back. If we can have two designs.
We haven't done that before, but not to say that we can have two options for folks to select and purchase.
Yeah.
Okay, if you, I've dealt in T-shirts for years with the Turtle Team, and it's thousands of T-shirts. And, anything done by a committee is very scary, right? So, the autistic one, now I'm just anticipating, I come in with my two kids, and they're gonna pick up my T-shirt, and the kids want the same T-shirt as mom and dad. Are you gonna have two options for the kids? Or, the autistic one and the other one that you choose?
I mean,
Could
if
we?
people want to, one would be provided for free.
Right.
And then the other ones could be purchased. And if we
Yeah.
have two designs, then they can choose which one they would like to purchase from the
Okay.
city.
Was your question with the autistic design, would you get all sizes or just the
Well,
child size?
just the child sizes? or-
We can do it however we'd like. We can certainly order adult sizes as well. And, we know, what sizes are more popular than others. We've been doing this for, I think,
Right.
more than 15 years now. So I think we would know what people are more drawn to or what is more popular. So we would use that data to determine how many we would like. But I think your question is, does the design created by the autistic folks would be available just in children's sizes
Well,
or
that's what
adult
you had
sizes?
sort of mentioned,
I think
yeah.
that that's up to us to decide.
I don't understand the T-shirt, okay? I like the little saying on the top, but the rest I don't understand. So as a tourist coming to Isle of Palms for the first time, I'm gonna gravitate towards the one that shows palm trees and seagulls and whatever. So that's my thought. And also on the autistic one, do they have a front and a back?
No, that would just be a front T-shirt.
I think kids just choose what they like.
Yeah, well,
It doesn't matter if it has something on the front or back or
No, I'm just,
whatever.
because that was
And
the,
Amy, do you mind putting that one, the fourth one? I think it's a stick figure with a surfboard
okay, gotcha.
and some waves.
Rethink it. Whoop,
That one, can you
can you zoom in?
zoom? So as a son, I like your awesome T-shirt, I like your awesome shirt, and then it's a stick figure, a surfboard, and some waves.
Okay.
Hey Desiree, this is Park. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not.
Yes, we can.
But I love the autistic angle for sure. I just wonder if there's a mechanism to, I don't know, if this autism speaks or whatever else, but if there's a way to make sure that the intent of the shirt is, or if the intent of the shirt is to raise awareness, that we do something to acknowledge that. If it's, hashtag autism speaks or whatever, organization would be, would help with recognition. I think it would help people understand the nature of the shirt and what the intent of the shirt is a little bit more as well.
I think that's a
If we're looking to
great
raise
point.
awareness, in other words, I think that would be, it would be a good platform for that.
I think that's a great point, and, because there's no design in the back, maybe something that can be included in the back with some local organizations that raise awareness, or somewhere in the front. The group that met before thought that it was a great conversation starter. That's an interesting T-shirt and can help, start a conversation about who designed it, what the goal was, and so just sharing that.
Is it allowed for us to go back and just ask them maybe to put the "I like your awesome shirt" on the back with the hashtag just be? I mean, are we allowed to do that, or is that, I mean, I don't want to complicate things. I just,
No,
that would be the front and that,
mhm.
the front, because I think the front is really cool, and really modern looking, and
Mhm.
I think it'd appeal to both kids and adults. And on the back, that's where you can wear, raise your awareness.
Mhm.
You
We
know,
can
on
certainly
the
ask.
aquarium, just for example, they do put on the back, they put the aquarium and then a website or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
just in small, you know, and they could certainly do that. It's just another cost.
So we can look into that. What about for the top three? So this was sort of let's do two designs. What do you all think about, Amy, can you start at the first one? Because again, the goal was to include this as a second option, and then the other three were their preferred for the official. That one,
Can you blow it up?
and if you can just, there, perfect, thank you. Okay, well. So this was their favorite. For what it's worth, it's my favorite.
I like it. Remembering the logo on the left is small, that's the pocket logo, so that's like
Correct.
3.5 inches by, and then the other one's probably close to 12.
Correct. You know, the point on this one was, on the second one, is that the front should include South Carolina. I know, this
Well, that's
design
easy
in the
enough, yeah.
back has the place to be, Alabama, South Carolina. So that may be an edit that we ask, to include on the front if this is the winning one. And then the third one was this one.
Would you like a roll call?
I just
Good
thought, I mean, the
discussion,
way
huh?
we did it, everybody gave their top threes, and, I mean, they were pretty consistent. Do you all agree with their favorite one?
I like the first two, and of course, there's no turtle in the first one, but I can live with that.
I noticed that.
Well, since 2007, we've had a turtle on the
Hey,
current one.
You can never have too many turtles, that's all.
Amy,
I
do
like
you
the
mind
first one.
blowing, oh, you're trying to put the three together.
They're all very nice.
Mm-hmm.
I like the first one.
I think graphically, the color in the first one really pops in the back. So, and I like the font, Isle of Palms.
And I like the idea of having the autistic artwork one available as well.
Perfect. All righty, well, do you all want to vote on that?
Sure.
And we can bring this recommendation to council and get T-shirts ready for the beginning of next year.
I guess
How would
one thing you have to decide is the autistic one, are you going to do, I like 50/50? Are you going to do the two, not just for kids then, just do the autistic one?
Is that
for-
what you, would
I
you
don't know.
all like that one to also be available for adults to purchase?
I think we should default to you, since
Okay.
you've got the history.
Okay.
That's my suggestion.
Yeah.
They have the history.
Well, we can start with a smaller order. It becomes really popular. We can always add to that.
Again, with my limited T-shirt experience, adults don't necessarily like big things on the front. Right? In which that one is only on the front, but that's neither here nor there.
All right.
Okay, how would you like to fashion a motion?
I think you can, some motion to recommend option one included, in the packet, and option four for them to be the new designs for
Okay.
the official T-shirt.
So moved.
With
I was
amount-
going to try to repeat that.
with amounts determined by the
Staff.
by the staff.
We have $15,000 in the budget, so we would start with that for the first order. If we get more sales and becomes more popular, we can increase that.
Do you know offhand, on other years, how many shirts were given away, sold? Have you kept track of that?
We do, but I don't know that
Yeah,
at the top of my
ballpark?
head.
I mean, 1,000, 10,000?
10 million said it.
Is there anyone to second the motion?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Next item is a discussion of responsibilities of the ATAX Advisory Committee.
So I included this in the packet, in reaction to some questions that, another member of the committee had. We certainly he's not present today. Mike, I know he really wanted to have a conversation about what the goals are and what the roles of the ATAX committee. This is essentially the same in the packet. It's excerpts from the ATAX new member orientation that I do with new members once they're appointed by council. And it essentially explains the state statute that authorizes and creates a requirement for this ATAX committee to be formed for those communities that generate over $50,000 in state accommodation monies. And so I included that for information purposes in the event that there are any questions. The ATAX committee is responsible for making recommendations on the state accommodation revenue that the city receives every year. As you all know, that those monies are divided. You know, there's 5% that goes to the general fund. There's 30% that are mandated to be spent on tourism promotion. And that is those are the monies that are managed by Explore Charleston. Every year you hear from them and their budget and how they're proposing to spend that money on our behalf. The committee makes a recommendation to City Council. In the past, it has been rejected. It has been approved. So that is a role of this committee to make a recommendation or not to City Council for how those 30% are spent. Council ultimately is who makes a decision on approval of that expenditure. Same process for the 65%. So the remaining funds of the state accommodation tax fund, those are managed directly by the city and they have to be used for tourism-related expenditures. This committee reviews a draft budget that the staff prepares. We prepare a draft budget of all accounts for all departments, and that's presented to City Council. They review it at committees. They make recommendations. They include projects, delete requests, add requests. So the same process that we follow with committee meetings, we do with this board when we're in the budget preparation process. That is where you all have an opportunity to make recommendations about different expenditures, different projects that would be eligible under the state statute for this account. This committee has already approved our existing budget that we're running in now. That all that process happened earlier this year. You'll have another opportunity to do that at for when we're preparing FY26. But really, the roles and responsibility of this committee are set up by state law. It is not City Council, it is state law who establishes the role and the responsibilities of this group. So I think I've roughly included that. Within that 65%, you all know that council and the group has recommended to set aside $50,000 for different programs and sponsorships. And you all recall a few years ago, we streamlined that process. So rather than receiving applications on a rolling basis throughout the year, we have established a timeline for those applications to be received. You all review them, make recommendations, and then they're included in the budget. Last month, you all, there was consensus about opening up a second round of funding for the remaining of our current budget. So that's where we are. So that bucket is within the 65% that is managed by the city and overseen by this group. Are there any questions? Is there, one suggestion I have is we'll probably have a new member next year, and we can spend a meeting in January reviewing all of this in more detail if that is a goal. And providing, direction for the rest of the year in terms of when Explore Charleston is coming, preparing everybody for that so that you all can come with good feedback for Explore Charleston for the 30%, and then maybe a little bit more training on the budget preparation process for state ATAX. That's something that we can certainly facilitate. I would just say that the appropriate time would be beginning of next year when a new member is in place and you're starting the process, the budget process for the next season.
I like that idea. I'm probably the oldest one outside of Ray on the committee, but I still have trouble trying to, what percentage goes here, what percentage goes there. And I do think that's a marvelous idea to have a review of the system for tourism. Because I'm not sure, if I don't understand it, I'm not sure if everybody completely understands it. So there, thank you for putting that in.
Sure, you're welcome.
Okay. Last item was consideration of the application from the YWCA for funding for the application that was put in. I don't know if you want to discuss it or reschedule them to come in and give a presentation, because I had a couple of questions. And maybe, I can ask the questions to get them documented for them to address if they were to come back.
That'd be helpful.
I was going to ask, well, first thing I was going to ask is, okay, this is the second year for the event. Do they have any data from the first event on how many overnight stays were at the resort, as well as possibly at any short-term rental properties, so we can get a sense of, they're estimating how many possible room nights. If they had some data, it might be helpful for the committee to consider. The other thing that I wanted to, and I don't know if everybody on the committee was involved in last year's application, but there was discussion concerning this being an invitation-only event, and some people had some heartburn with that, as opposed to being open to the public. So we're considering the allocation of public funds to an event that's invitation-only. And some people, like I said, had heartburn on it, some not so much. So I want kind of clarification on that, or at least have the committee whether the committee has any questions for the presenters on how to answer those questions, how to deal with that. My feeling is, and I would just throw this out, if it's an invitation, I'm kind of confused, because if it's an invitation only, it's kind of funny. You invite somebody to come to something, but then they have to pay to come. That's kind of a weird twist to me. But understanding that, so they invite dignitaries, whoever they are. But if they have presentations from people within the event that the general public would be interested in, I kind of feel like that it should be open to people to observe and listen to people presenting concerning, I don't know what the agenda is, but if it's MLK-driven content, I gotta believe some people would like to hear what people have to say about his legacy, about what progress has been made, and things of that sort. So that would go a ways for me personally of looking at this favorably as opposed to an invitation-only closed event.
I think we need them here. I don't think we can move forward on this at all until they come, because we do have questions. And I think we should just put it aside for now and.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll table that for the next meeting, which I think is probably the next item on the agenda.
Yes. We'll ask them to, so these questions, Chair, I'm going to reach out to the Tourism Expenditure Review Committee. about your question about an event being invitation only or open to the public, which would,
I mean, just like an opinion of how they view that.
correct. I know we did that last time, but I'll just go
We did-
back. I
We
believe
did
so.
contact Turk. I don't remember hearing that.
Okay, I would need to check my records, but I know that that was a question that came up at council as well. So I'll review that and just reach out to them again and share any insight that they may have on this
Is
particular
Tamika still
request.
a staff person there?
My understanding is that she is, yes. And then we'll ask them to come prepared with data from their previous
Right.
event. I think anything else that would be beneficial for your review of this application that we would want to make sure that they bring to the next meeting, that would be helpful to share, just like Ray did.
I'd like to also see the agenda or the list of, I don't care who's coming. I don't want to see a list of the invitees. That doesn't matter. But if they have a content-driven agenda, in light of my other thoughts about opening up to the public to see, it would be maybe helpful to see who the presenters would be and what would be the discussion topics.
We'll request that as well.
Okay.
If you think of anything between now and the next meeting, don't hesitate to let me know so that we can make sure that that time spent is efficient. We can spend that time as efficiently as we can.
Okay. In light of trying to schedule the next meeting, do we have any things that have to be accomplished by a certain time? Like this application has to be dealt with before a certain time in November, is that not correct?
Well, you can address this application anytime during the fiscal year budget, which runs through January. However, this event, I think it's in January.
The fiscal runs till end of June.
I'm sorry, June, yes, June.
Yeah, so
But
they
this event
want the
is in
money
January,
January 1.
correct.
So I'm thinking not much happens here in December.
Correct. So council will have their regular meeting. They have a workshop on the 12th. However, typically council combines the workshop and the council meeting in November to one date because the regular date of the council meeting in November would be the 26th of November, which is the week of Thanksgiving. We have a lot of people traveling, and if we have a runoff in the local election for the council seat, that runoff would happen that Tuesday. So this room would not be
Tuesday the
available.
26th.
Yes, sir. So I would suggest that we meet the first, okay, so we have all committee meetings on first Tuesday of the month. So that's November 5th. As we know, that's Election Day. So we've had to move all those meetings to Wednesday, which would be our typical day for meetings. So I would suggest maybe meeting the 7th of November, Thursday,
I'm out of town the 7th through the 9th.
okay? I know it's challenging coordinating meetings to make sure that we have a quorum. So how about Monday, the 4th?
That would be fine with me.
Park, does that work for you?
Monday, the 4th of November?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Margaret?
Yes, that works.
It does? Okay, perfect. So we'll plan on November 4th at 11 a.m. I'll send a calendar invite when we finish here. And that should be a short meeting if you're only considering this application.
Will there be any further information from Office of Tourism?
Oh, that would be the other thing, yes.
Okay.
Another update or kind of a status and discussion of the survey. But those two things really, unless anything else comes up. So hopefully we can be quick.
Since we're going to be hearing from this group in November, so is the application still open or is that closed?
We closed it.
Okay.
Yes, we closed it. We can reopen it, but I I don't know, what, I'll do whatever you all want me to do. As long as it's legal, ethical, and moral.
Well, since they didn't show up this time and we're giving them the grace of doing it the next time, if someone comes up with a fantastic, request, why not allow them?
Okay,
If
well,
they
we,
can show up that same day. I mean, that,
what we can do is extend and make another advertisement so everybody has the opportunity to
Right.
be aware that the deadline has been extended. And we can extend it through the 25th of October, that Friday. Give folks 3 more weeks.
okay.
Is that okay with everyone? Okay. All right, we'll do that.
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?